Hello everybody, I hope you're all doing fantastic today. I'm Johan Smith, a young wildlife nature photographer from South Africa, and as you can read in the title, this video is going to be about wildlife photographer stereotypes, or basically wildlife photographers you'll find in the field. This is going to be episode 1. I will do an episode 2 as well, and maybe a third one, but wait for episode 2, it'll come as well. So I just want to say as well, this might look like an entertainment based video, but you might find some tips along the way, and you might find some inspiration along the way. I know as I set up this video and planned it out, it really inspired me to try out different types of photography as I thought out of the different types of photographers you get and what images they get and how they get it. It really inspired me to try out different types of photography. So yeah, wait for episode 2 and let's get into the first one. First of all, we all know this guy. This is the long lens shooter. So this guy shoots with long lenses, like 600 mils with teleconverters, 800 mils with teleconverters. Yeah, these guys use long lenses, long and expensive lenses. But these guys know how to handle those long focal lengths. So if you're struggling with long lens technique, long focal length technique, go to that long focal length guy. This guy, he will show you the right techniques. Then we have the tripod guy. These guys, they aren't that common, but we know of these guys. They use tripod for everything, from shooting birds to shooting, well, buffalo grazing on the grasslands. Yeah, these guys, they use tripods, and most of the time these guys, they have the best and sturdiest and most expensive tripods on the market. So looking for a tripod, ask the tripod guy. And then we have the wide angle guy. These guys yeah, you don't see these guys very often. They shoot wildlife with a wide angle lens. It's quite uncommon and something you don't think of straight away. When you think wildlife photography, you think long lenses, but these guys, they use wide angle lenses to shoot wildlife. This can definitely tell a different story when using a wide angle lens. It definitely tells a different story. It gives you a different perspective, a perspective that you don't see basically ever. And that's because these photographers quite often take a lot of risk when trying to shoot these wide angle images, because they have to get very close to the animal. So people really like these images a lot of the time, and this is also the images that gets featured in magazines and films and stuff like that, because they are so unique, different, and just quite different than the rest also. Because most of us shoot with long lenses and not necessarily go wide angle in shooting wildlife. So yeah, this is definitely a type of photography I want to try more, to get wide angle images of birds. I mean, it just tells a story that's quite hard to get to tell with a long lens. So yeah, this one, I want to try that in the future. Then we get the extreme FPS shooter. Yes, this guy shoots at the highest frame rate his camera can do, and he's not afraid to hold down that shutter button. This guy shoots bursts of like 100, 200 images at a time. He isn't afraid to hold down that shutter button. This guy, he has a lot of shots that looks basically the same, but this guy gets the perfect shot that the guys that are afraid to hold down that button don't get. So yeah, these guys may waste a bunch of memory, but they end up with an image that is perfect and exactly what they want. These guys use cameras with massive buffers. So looking for a camera with a massive buffer, well, go to this guy. You will have a camera with a massive buffer. If you go visit these guys, you might find a few hard drives laying around with a bunch of images that looks basically the same. But anyway, as I said, these guys, they get the shot. So yeah, they get the shot. And then we have the Ranger Vehicle Shooter. This guy we find a lot, especially in South Africa with our national parks. And then we have these vehicles that is basically suited for tourists. It's open on the sides, no windows, just open with the driver, and it's quite, it's also nice and high, so you get a better view of the animals you're looking at. So this guy, we get these guys a lot, and they only shoot from Ranger vehicles. This guy, yeah, only shoots from that vehicle. He doesn't walk and shoot. He doesn't drive in a different car. This guy only shoots from that Ranger vehicles. These guys use longer focal lengths because they don't have to hold it. They can support it from the vehicle. And also because the vehicle can't always get as close to the animal, these guys, as I said, have to use longer focal lengths. But these guys are nice and settled into those vehicles. They know how to get a great shot from a vehicle. Yeah. And then we have the cheap camera, expensive lens guy. This guy is, most of the time, these guys are experienced amateurs, more advanced amateurs. These guys know that it's not the camera that makes the image, but rather the lens. They know they have to invest in great glass, so that's what they do. And then they save a bit of money on the camera, and that's what I said. These guys most of the time aren't the professionals, but rather experienced or advanced amateurs. So they save a bit of money on the DSLR or the body itself. And these guys, yeah, they get some pretty good shots with their setups. And these are just generally good photographers to be around. And then we get the bird shooter. Yes, these guys we get a lot. These guys, they only shoot birds. Nothing else, only birds. Only birds sitting on a tree, only birds flying. They like birds in flight. Yes, they will tell you about a lot of stories about their bird in flight shots. They use cameras with incredible autofocus. So looking for a camera with very good autofocus, these guys will tell you which lens and camera combinations and which bodies to get for the incredible autofocus that's on the market right now. These guys will prefer to shoot a little bird sitting in a tree somewhere, even though there's a lion eating a buck or chasing a springbok below the tree. This guy will rather shoot the little bird tweeting on the branch. And yeah, these guys, as I said, they only shoot the birds. Then we have the hide guy. We don't see these guys a lot because many of us might find it a little bit of, you know, too much work to put up a blind and do the research on where you want to put up the blind. But yeah, these guys, they shoot from blinds. They have blinds set up everywhere. But these guys, we can all agree, they get the best shots. You can see the shots they get are planned out perfectly. The background is just perfect. Everything is just perfect. And that's because they planned out where they want to put their hide and where they might find their animal, their subject. And that is how they get these perfect shots. Yeah, these guys, they get the good shots. As I said, they plan out, they strategize on where they want to put up their hide, and most of the time these guys know their animal very good. So if you're trying to find tips on how to learn your animal better, how to understand your subject better, which is very important if you are a wildlife photographer, go to the blind guy. He will give you some tips on how to, as I said, learn to know your animal. And then basically the same guy, but this guy goes even deeper, the Ghillie Suit Guy. These guys, yeah, as I said in the title, types of photographers you find in the field. This guy you won't find in the field because you won't see him. He's hiding too good for you to see. So yeah, these guys, they get the close shots. These guys get the close shots, and that's because the buck or the animal don't see them until they basically poop on their head and they have to shake off the poop. So that's the only time the buck will actually see the guy. I say buck because that's most of the time what these guys shoots, but also birds. You get birds photographers that use ghillie suits. Yeah, and then we get the all-weather guy. These guys shoots in any type of weather. These guys go out in hurricanes, tornadoes, snowstorms, hailstorms, you name it. This guy goes out there and he shoots his wildlife. Respect for these guys. They prefer to go out in a storm rather than a nice sunny day with everything perfect. This guy rather goes out in a snowstorm. So, I mean, but these guys, they get quite a unique and most of the time very strong images, and that's because they get the weather conditions to help tell the story. I want to be one of these photographers one day. I don't want to be afraid to go out in any weather. It's just quite a hassle to be wet and trying to deal with gear that does not have to must not get wet. So yeah, but I really want to be one of these photographers one day that isn't really afraid to go out in any type of weather, and as I said, get to tell a very strong story with the harsh weather conditions that they capture in their images. Then basically the same guy but different. This guy shoots every time of the day, basically the all day guy. This guy shoots from pre-sunrise till after sunset. This guy isn't afraid to capture images in basically darkness. If you're looking for a low light camera that performs incredible in low light, go ask this guy. He'll tell you what camera to buy that performs basically just incredible in low light, and that can basically shoot in pitch darkness. So yeah, these guys use wide open lenses. Most of the time not long focal lengths, because then you don't have that wide open apertures. So these guys shoots like 300 f2.8 and stuff like that. That's just incredible in darkness, in darker conditions. Yeah, these guys, they know their gear and they know how to use their gear, and in incredibly dark conditions. So looking for a low light performer, go ask these guys. And that's it for this video. So thank you for watching. Please, if you liked it, go down and like it. If you want to see more wildlife photography videos, this is, as I said, more an entertainment based video, but I'm planning on doing a lot more educational content, especially on how to get incredible professional looking images from cheaper limited gear. Yeah, this is the channel for you, so please go down there and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. As I said, like this video and please share it to someone else. As I said, this might inspire them also to try out different types of photography, and you'll have to wait for the second episode. Maybe I'll make a third one if I can think of more types, but it's quite hard when you get to, well, whatever number I'm at right now. So yeah, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next episode, and have fun shooting. See you in the next one.